Hello all, let us start with the manner of utilization of ITC. Let me tell you friends, this is very important for your numerical problems, right? Please understand this with very carefully. Section 49 and Rule 88A deals with manner of utilization of ITC. There are new subsections added with the amendments section 49A, 49B, and Rule 88A is also addition, right? And circular number 98/17/2019 on this date deal with the manner of utilization of ITC. The summary of all these provisions is given below. Credit has to be used in following order only. There is order given with this is what we are going to learn, right? So ITC of IGST to be first utilized against payment of IGST liability. Please understand, first we have to finish this IGST credit which is pending in the electronic credit ledger of registered person. We have to finish this IGST first. And how to finish this? First utilize in IGST liability and then you utilize it for CGST and SGST in any order and in any manner. This is what is given in second point. After payment of IGST above, if balance of IGST credit still remains, it can be used for payment of CGST, SGST or UTGST in any order and in any proportion. Right, we will solve some numerical problems on this so that you will understand it better. Full IGST credit has to be first utilized to make it nil. Okay, first IGST credit has to be utilized and make it 0, and then only other credits can be used. ITC of CGST to be first utilized. ITC of CGST to be first utilized for the payment of CGST liability, and then if credit remains, payment of IGST liability. Understand here, earlier we have finished IGST liability using IGST credit, and now we are finishing CGST credit. How to finish this? First you have to use CGST credit for paying CGST liability, and if still CGST credit remains, then use it for paying IGST liability. You cannot use it against SGST or UTGST. CGST का कुछ पैसा बचा है तो SGST के लिए हम यूज करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, right? Similarly, ITC of SGST or UTGST to be first utilized for the payment of SGST or UTGST, and then if credit remains, you utilize it for IGST liability. Cross utilization of CGST with this SGST is not allowed. Please remember this point. CGST and SGST both are two different things and you cannot cross utilize this. But you can cross utilize CGST and IGST or SGST and IGST. This is allowed, right? Hope this point is clear, and I request you, if you are a student and about to write exams, please copy this down. Pause this video and copy this down. This is very important point, right? Now the same thing has been given in the pictorial form. IGST liability first to be discharged by IGST credit if ITC still remains, can be used for discharge of CGST or SGST or UTGST liability in any proportion or in any order. There is no proper format given here. It means IGST liability first you have to pay with IGST credit. If IGST credit still remains, then use it for CGST or SGST. If still remains, then be that in your electronic credit ledger. Then CGST liability, if you have the CGST liability to pay the tax to be discharged by CGST credit after utilizing IGST credit. First you have to utilize IGST and then use CGST, right? And if CGST credit still remains, then you utilize it for IGST liability. Similarly, SGST, to be discharged by SGST credit after utilizing IGST credit. Hope this is clear. Now from following details, show these are the details, right? This is the example where we will understand how to utilize these credits. This is the question given. IGST output tax liability payable is 2000 rupees. ITC available is 3000 rupees. It means you have credit more. You have more credit to pay this liability. 1000 will still remain here. CGST, what is happening here? 1800 and 1200 credit is available. 1800 is payable. So you can utilize all this 1200 in payment of 1800, but still liability of 600 remains. Hope you are understanding. Liability of 600 remains. How do you pay with this? We'll see this later. What is happening here in SGST? 1500 is tax liability, output tax payable, but 200 is the credit available from the previous month. Let us also say this as opening balance, right? So discharge of liability, I have made these columns. Discharge of liability, discharge of CGST liability, discharge of SGST liability. This is IGST liability, and then total balance of ITC at the end of that month after utilizing it, right? First let us see IGST. What is happening with IGST? How much is our liability? 2000 is our liability. 2000 I have taken. Discharge of CGST liability is 1000. How am I getting this? See, out of this 3000, I have used 2000 for IGST liability, right? And 1000 is still remaining, and that is used for payment of CGST liability. So total 3000 has been utilized here, and therefore no balance. There is nothing to utilize for SGST. Clear? Now CGST, look at the liability 1800. 1800 is the output liability. Out of that 1000 is already paid, and therefore 800 is the liability still pending. Understood? Now this 800 is paid by this credit 1200, right? We had 1800, 1000 is paid, 800 was still remaining. This 800 is paid from 1200. How much credit is still available? Balance of ITC 400 is still available, right? Now what is happening with SGST? Output tax liability is 1500, but we could only do 200 with the credit. So 200 credit I am using and nothing in the balance column, right? Sir, 1500 minus 200, it means we have only paid 200. What about 1000 to 300? So this balance will be paid by cash or bank through e-cash ledger. Can you pay with the cash? Yes, you can go to the OTC, that is over the counter payment can be done, or it is 100% suggested to pay it through the electronic cash ledger, and that too in the mode of payment of you can use debit card, credit cards, not UPI payments, but net banking can also be used, right? First IGST credit is finished by paying CGST in this example. In this example what I have done is IGST credit was used, that this extra 1000 was used to payment of CGST first. You can also use it for SGST liability, but since I have seen here 1800 was more and 1500 is less, and therefore I have used all that 1000 in the payment of 1800. Right, this is what I have done in this example. But in the next example, what I have done here is that the extra 1000 was first utilized for SGST, right? So 2000 IGST liability I have paid according to the rule. CGST I have not paid, because if I see closely, CGST credit is more here and SGST credit is less. This is what we are doing here. 1000 SGST we have paid, so balance of ITC of IGST is not remaining. But let us see at CGST, we cannot pay any IGST, right? Discharge of CGST liability is 1200 we have done, and nothing is remaining as ITC, because if you closely look at the question, 1800 is the payment. 1800 is the payment, but ITC available is only 1200. So all that 1200 has been used, and ITC is 0, balance remaining, and that difference 600, 1800 minus 1200, that 600 CGST to be paid by e-cash ledger. Similarly, 1500 was the SGST liability. SGST liability 200 we have utilized. See, 1000 I have paid with the IGST, 200 has been paid with the SGST credit. So that remaining balance, that is 300 rupees, right? 300 rupees shall be paid by the electronic cash ledger. Hope this is clear. How this 300 is remaining? Look at this closely. 1500 was the credit, 1000 is the paid IGST paid through the IGST credit. So 500 was remaining. Out of this 500, 200 was utilized for SGST credit, right? So still 300 rupees remains. This total 900, 600 plus 300, 900 remains. This will be used, this will be paid through the electronic cash ledger, right? You can use it through net banking or debit card, credit card, whatever way is possible. Hope this is clear. This is all about manner of utilization of ITC. Earlier we had a strict rule. First you use IGST, then for CGST, then for SGST. But now the rule has been changed. They said, first you finish IGST and then you utilize it against CGST or SGST in any way possible. This is the new amendment made. Hope this is clear with this example, right? This is beautiful example adapted from ICI module. See you next video. Thank you.